Hello, welcome back to my channel. Dwayne Kimball, United States Army veteran and retired VA rating specialist. Today's video, the VA's informal conference. Several veterans have contacted me and said, Dwayne, I opted in or elected to do a high-level review in an informal conference. Never got scheduled, just received a phone call from the decision review officer and they wanted to do the informal conference. Veterans, the VA employees have to follow the instructions provided by the VA when you elect for an informal conference. So in today's video, I'm going to explain it all. Make sure you stick around. Okay, so today's video, the VA's informal conference, when you elect an informal conference, when you decide to do a high-level review. But before we get into that, make sure you go out to my website, pick up my new book, VA Claims Success, and don't forget the 20% discount code VET20, VET20. So when you submit that 0996 to the VA, disagreeing, which is a high-level review, they are supposed to do certain things when you opt in for an informal conference. A lot of veterans have called me and said, Dwayne, I never got scheduled. I just received a call from the decision review officer to go ahead and start talking about the informal conference, and you were not prepared. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through step by step what these VA employees are supposed to do when you elect for an informal conference. So let's go ahead and get into it. Slide number one. Here's slide number one. We're going to start off with the M21 manual reference, definition of informal conference. Okay, an informal conference is contact, typically by telephone, but also using other means the VA determines appropriate. Now, I did it in an informal conference years ago, and I did it by video for the sole purpose of allowing a claimant and or representative the opportunity, now get this, to identify any errors of law or fact in the prior decision. I'm gonna read that again. To identify any errors of law or fact in the prior decision. Veterans, active duty service members, if you find yourself doing an informal conference, they're telling you you have to identify any errors of law or fact. An error is not you telling them, let me tell you my story. Okay? You're not identifying an error of law or fact. You have to bring up 38 CFRs, M21 manual reference, court cases as to why you should be service connected, a higher percentage, or the incorrect effective date. All right? Move right along. Slide number two. Overview of informal conferences. When requested by the claimant or representative, VA will conduct one informal conference during a high-level review. The presence of the requester is not required. The presence of the requester is not required if his or her authorized representative can attend instead. Why would you not want to attend that informal conference? Are you going to leave it in the hands of someone else? You need to be there by all means necessary. Now, I understand life happens. You may not be able to be there, but by all means, you want to be there. All right. Then it goes on to say, I'm just going to read what I highlighted and read. VA will not accept any new evidence to support the issues under review during the informal conference. You can submit new evidence, but they're telling you it will not be considered. They're only going to look at what was of record when that rating specialist decided or adjudicated your claim. All right. Last paragraph. VA may conduct the informal conference in person when good cause is shown as to why telephonic communication cannot or should not occur. Now, this is a gray area. They don't define good cause. They give some other examples as it pertains to something else in the M21, but they don't spell it out. Let me give you some examples. Now, what I may think is good cause may be different than what you think is good cause, and vice versa. Okay? But I would say if you had an older vet that didn't have a cell phone or didn't have a phone, which majority of people do, but there are some people that do not, okay? Then they may have to do that one in person, okay? That's going to be on a case-by-case basis. I know people are going to say, Dwayne, do you think this is a good cause? And I may say yay or nay, but that doesn't mean because I may think it's a good cause, the person that's adjudicating this claim may think it's a good cause, right? Moving right along. The next slide. Initial actions. Okay, we're going to skip down to the second paragraph, but there's a 38 CFR there. Okay, so make sure you write it down. You go look it up. It states the reviewer or informal conference coordinator will make a total of 2 attempts to contact the claimant or his or her representative to schedule. The reviewer will hold the informal conference within 7 calendar days of the successful contact. Now, if you get a call from area code 727, I believe the suffix is 319. That is the St. Petersburg, Florida regional office. Pick up the phone. Okay, so unless you're in surgery or something like that, if you got one of these call blockers or whatever, that's on you. You knew when you submitted that 0996 that you elected for an informal conference. So if you got a call block or a spam block on your phone, do not go crying to the VA about, oh, I didn't get a call. I didn't get a call. I'm letting you know that right now. Now, the reviewer or informal conference coordinator will make a total of 2 attempts. If you just get a call saying, hey, I'm calling about your informal conference, are you prepared today? No. According to M21-5, 5.3.c, initial actions, you're supposed to call me and schedule it. So if they call you today, then count 7 days, business days. That's when it's supposed to be, that's when they're supposed to schedule an informal conference. So you should already know, okay, I got an informal conference on December 15th at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You get a phone call and it says spam, and you might want to pick it up. Or if it's some weird number, you might want to pick it up. If it's 727-319, that could be the St. Petersburg regional office. Now, there's other offices that do those. I just remember that number from when I used to work there, okay? Move right along. Please note that the number of attempts made to contact as well as the timeline for scheduling, conducting informal conferences are guidelines, not rigid requirements, meaning it could be sooner, it could be later. But if you get that call and they hadn't coordinated it and you're not prepared, let them know that. But you should be prepared because you're the one who's already reviewed your claims file. You should know what law of fact that you will argue during this informal conference. Not an actual argument, but you know what I mean, all right? The key point is to make reasonable efforts to hold or otherwise promptly resolve conferences. Moving right along. Unsuccessful attempts to contact the requesters. If possible, leave general voicemail message requesting a return call at the specified telephone line within the DRCO. Document the unsuccessful contact, VA Form 27-0820 report of general information. Now, this form is also used when you call the 800 number. When you call in and you talk to them about requesting a breakdown letter or doing an intent to file for compensation, they are to complete this form, okay? For the permanent note in VBMS, indicate whether a voicemail was left using the following suggested text. Okay, suggested text. Suggested. That's what they're telling this employee to do. Now, if you missed that call, you want to call 800-827-1000, let them know you missed it. That VA employee may give you a different number to call them direct. Highly unlikely, but they may. If not, you need to be calling the 800 number saying, hey, they call, I missed the call. They told me to call this number. If they gave you that number, to reschedule. Now, the person on the phone, they can't reschedule it. They're going to fill out that 0820 and put it in your file. So when it comes back around, if this is your second attempt, that VA employee should see that you called. But again, you need to pick up the phone, especially for the vets that got these spam blockers and all that other stuff on your phone. Okay? All right, last slide. Unsuccessful second attempt to contact the requester. This is the second attempt and is unsuccessful. If VA receives no response by the third business day, make a second and last attempt to schedule the informal conference. If the second attempt fails, the reviewer or informal conference coordinator will document the unsuccessful contact, on the VA form 27-0820. The high-level reviewer with authority over the issues can then render a final decision on the high-level review. So there you have it. That's the process the VA employees, the high-level review level, are supposed to follow when a veteran elects for a high-level review. But veterans, I'm going to hold you accountable as well. Like I stated earlier when I was going through these slides, if you got these spam blockers on your phone, I get it. I get spam all the time. I get it. But you know you elected for an informal conference when you submitted that 0996. Expect a phone call to schedule your informal conference. Now, I get it. You may be in an appointment or whatever. Call back. If they leave a number, call them back. That way there is a record, okay? But if you're just sitting around watching football or whatever during the week, ESPN, pick up the phone. I will not feel sorry for you if you do not pick up that phone and make sure you get that high-level review informal conference schedule, okay? So with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and don't forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. Thank you.